A 75 milliliter solution of HCl with an unknown concentration is titrated to the equivalence point with 27.3 milliliters of 0.15 milliliters calcium hydroxide. What was the concentration of HCl in the original solution? This equation might seem hard to handle at first, but with 5 easy steps, it's quite simple. So the first step is to identify the problem. If we go back to the word problem, we can see that we are looking for the concentration of HCl in the original equation. In this point, the concentration is known as M. The second step is to draw a picture. The first thing we're going to do is look back at our equation and see that it says we have 75 milliliters of HCl. We're going to put the 75 milliliters in one box and then see that there's 27.3 milliliters of calcium hydroxide and put that in the other. We have an unknown concentration of the HCl, so we just put a question mark in this box, and then we see that there's a concentration of 0.157 in the calcium hydroxide box, so we put that in there. Our third step is to apply prior knowledge. So the first thing we're going to do is figure out what equation we are going to use to solve this problem. Since it says concentration, we know that we're dealing with molarity, and we know that molarity is equal to moles over volume. In this equation, we're trying to isolate moles. So we're just going to multiply molarity times volume. The next thing you're going to want to do is balance your equation. We know that we have HCl plus calcium hydroxide, which then turns into water, and calcium chloride. To balance the equation, we find the amount of each atom that we have on each side, and then make sure that they're equal. Once everything is balanced out, you will see that you have 2 moles of HCl and 2 moles of H2O. And then the third step of our applied knowledge isn't something you always have to do, but I prefer to do it so I don't have to do an extra step in my equation. I'm going to go ahead and convert 75 milliliters to liters. So we know that 75 milliliters times 1 liter over 1,000 milliliters is equivalent to 0.075 liters. And then we know that 27.3 milliliters times 1 liter over 1,000 milliliters is equivalent to 0.0273 liters. Now you are finally ready to work the problem. The first thing we're going to do is find the amount of moles that are in the calcium hydroxide solution. Since we know that molarity is just moles over volume, we're going to write 0.157 as molarity as 0.157 moles over volume, which is liters, times the liters of the solution, which is 0.273 liters. Then your liters will simply cancel out, and you are left with the moles of the solution. Now you're trying to find the moles of the hydrogen chloride solution. So you look over here and you see that you have 2 moles of hydrogen chloride and only 1 mole of calcium hydroxide. So you're going to do times 2 mole HCl all over 1 mole CaOH2. And this will leave you with your moles of hydrogen chloride. Since molarity is simply moles over volume, you're going to multiply that by 1 over the volume of that, which is 0.075 liters, and you will get your answer, which is approximately 0.114 moles of hydrogen chloride. Our last step is to check to make sure that we didn't make any errors. The first thing you want to do is make sure that you properly converted milliliters to liters. It is important to remember that 1 liter is equivalent to 1,000 milliliters. Then you want to make sure you properly balance your equation and that each number on each side matches up. The last thing you want to do is re-enter your numbers back into your calculator one more time just to make sure that you got the same answer. If it turns out the same in the end, you did it correct. Good job.